And he has a hard time filling up the circles. Here we probably have 30,000 people or something. That's a lot of people. Well, I want to thank you. 40 days from now, we're going to win Florida. We're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And this is the most important election in the history of our country. I believe that. It is because we're dealing with people that are crazy. They're going to raise your taxes. They're going to take away your Second Amendment. You know that. Your Second Amendment's not going anywhere with me, I can tell you that. The Democrat Party has been completely taken over by socialists, Marxists, and far-left extremists.
Yeah.
They embrace the policies of Communist Cuba, Socialist Venezuela. They want to end the American dream. Hispanic Americans, we love Hispanic Americans. You see, they released a poll today. They're saying Trump's doing really well with what's going on with the Hispanic. It took you so long to figure.
Marcus Conte reporting Donald Trump at his best on the stump last night in Florida. Allegedly 30,000 people out on the tarmac, all wearing MAGA MAGA Could you ever believe that there would be MAGA masks? Make America Great Again masks behind the Trumpster. Shit is dope, man. Shit is dope. I always get this advertisement for the Epoch Times. I don't talk about those people. Those are the Falun Gong. Falun Gong. Falun. Reverb for that. Hold on a second. Falun Gong. That's what they are. Falun Gong is a very, very, very communist, anti-communist movement, actually a religion in China. Or it's actually an exile Chinese, right up there with the Tibetans. But the Falun Gong are far more vocal because they've been tortured, they've been killed by the Chinese communists. So they're very, very, a very active component of exposing China for its corruption. Now, that's not to say that the main story today is there's a story in New York City that Mike Pompeo is saying that the Chinese are using the New York consulate here in New York City on the west side as a spy ring operation. That the consulate is not really a consulate, but it's more of a spying operation to spy on American stuff and people and provide it back to the Chinese, the CCCP, the Communist Chinese Party. Is it true? I don't know. Pompeo has a history of, he's a CIA asset. Once CIA, always CIA. He was the director of the CIA and is on the record saying we lie, we cheat, we steal. Do we believe the CIA? Do we believe the FBI? Do we believe any of the official narratives coming out of Washington and coming out of these talking heads? Or is it just total propaganda to weaken China's say in the matter? What do I know, right? What do we know? We're going to find out, right? We're going to find out. Falun Gong. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Vinny DiMartini on the wrench. Bill West is here. Tony Yao. What's up, Tony? Oh, I got to do a plug for this very fine shirt, right? Someone's sending me shirts, right? So I'll plug this one today. So I'll give you the still that you need, right? You want the still? You want me wearing your shirt? All right, I'll do it. Hold on a second. Let me make sure I get some hair. And there it is. There's your still. Oh, man, fucking. Politics is dead, man. Hey, shit, man. Fucking right here, man. Right here. See, there's the check. That's your still right there. You can put the shit wherever you want, man. Fucking, I'm giving you your still, man. I'm giving you your still, motherfucker. So there, you got your still of me wearing your shirt, right? Just stop. You know how to do that shit, right? You just copy and paste the shit, right? Fucking. So anyway, what was I saying? What was I saying before I interrupted myself? 50 DiMartini, Marcus. Marcus got the shirt. Looks great, mate. Yeah, man. I got the shirts. I got another one too. I'll wear it on another day. If you send me shirts, I like extra large. This is large. It's wearable. The medium, forget about it. Small, forget about it. But I prefer extra large, so it's like kind of loose and flubby. Yeah, it is a cool shirt. I like it. Politics is dead. All right, is it? I don't know. I think everything is politics. You want to see some local politics? I'll show you this shit before we get started. Right? Here's the dirty Democrats in New York. Right? I get this shit in the mail. Right? And this is a guy running for. He's running for state senate here, and they smear him as right out of the Democratic, supported by the New York State Democratic Committee. Right? Vito Bruno, a night when no one got shot was a success. They're trying to make him out to be a gangster. This guy running for Senate against Andrew Canardes. Right? It's just local politics. It's pretty funny, but it says, I'll read it to you. Vito Bruno ran some of the most dangerous and violent after-hours clubs in New York. If that's the way he ran his business, how can we trust him with our family's safety? The rap sheet for his nightclubs include fatal shootings, stabbings, drug dealing. They provide no evidence at all. Right? And on the back, you got a fucking line drawing with bullets. Right? On the ground, the dead body line. Violence, even murder, was business as usual for Vito Bruno. Right? And it's sponsored by New York State Democrats. There it is, right? Postmark, New York State Democrats. These fuckers are dirty, man. They play hard. They play dirty. I don't know why it's not. Try one more time to get that address in it. There it is. There it is. New York State Democratic. New York, fucking dirty Democrats on the march. On the march as they move into this election year, ready to fucking screw each other, man. Right? It's propaganda. Yeah. Vito Bruno, by the way, is the Republican, and the other guy, Andrew Canardes, who I've interviewed both of them. I have an interview of Vito Bruno. But it wasn't very good. I never put it up. I just happened to be walking by because they're in the neighborhood. They're walking by. They're politicking, and I did do a video, but I didn't put it up as of yet. I don't know. I don't know if it's flattering to them. I don't think he was ready for the camera. I think he was a little nervous. So I'll hold off on that. But anyway, well, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do, right? I'm supposed to report what I see. So anyway, that's Trump on the stump. Trump is stumping while everybody else is crying, while Biden is crying. Stay away from each other. Stay 6 feet away from each other. Trump's out on the stump. Kindly become a Patreon of this channel. I have to do an advertisement every time. And we're going to talk about Pompeo and his lying and cheating and stealing today. And you can, I put all of the YouTube videos. If they get knocked down, I just put them out on YouTube. We're now on a second channel, Marcus Conte News. If you're here, thank you, and kindly keep spreading the word. This is where we'll live stream until there's no more YouTube. I don't know, until there's no more YouTube. The good news is that this channel is now over the 1,000 subscribers necessary and the viewership time necessary to monetize. So I put it in. We put in the paperwork to monetize. So we'll see what happens. Maybe this is the channel. We'll grow this one, and the other one is archives until something better comes along. Until YouTube has its day. They all do. They all die. They all die a slow death. Hopefully it'll. Hey, listen. You know what? Even if you lose all your videos, is that a bad thing? Right? You remember in the day where there was radio and there was television. And if you missed the broadcast, you couldn't see the show. That's it. You missed it, right? And you had to hope that somebody else recorded it for you. And even before that, there was no recording. There was no VCRs. That was like a breaking. That was breaking. So even if this is like radio, as long as you get your message out and people hear it, that's a tough titty if it gets cut off and you didn't get to hear it. Because how many people really go back and watch what you said a year ago or 6 months ago or 2 years ago? Do people really give a shit about what you said 2 years ago, unless they're trying to smear you? So I don't see that as a tragedy. All I see is getting stronger, faster, and better at this messaging. And wherever I go, this is what you're going to get. So it doesn't matter if I'm. That's just a little inside. That's how I approach this stuff. So how are we doing, man? How are we doing on numbers here? Are people here? Are people here? They're finding us. They are finding us. Good. Welcome. Thank you for finding us. So that's the plug here. Kindly become a Patreon of the channel or drop some cash in the tip jar so that I can keep doing what I'm doing. Right? I got a lot of other stuff going on right now. That's why I'm late often. I'll explain more as it goes along. But hey, listen, man, it's crunch time, right? How many more days before the election? We got October. This is unbelievable. It's only like 5 weeks, 6 weeks away, and we're gonna have a presidential election where one party absolutely, unequivocally does not trust the other. All right. So here's we'll hear Trump in his own words. Let's listen to that first. Here, listen.
The other ones had the Trump name on it.
All right, so this is, I'll talk about this one first because it makes sense to what I just said. FBI investigating ballots for Trump found in Pennsylvania garbage. Oh, damn. So let's listen to Trump first. So the Democrats are already chucking shit in the garbage.
The other ones had the Trump name on it, and they were thrown into a waste paper basket. We want to make sure the election is honest, and I'm not sure that it can be. I don't know that it can be with this whole situation. Unsolicited ballots. There are unsolicited millions being sent to everybody, and we'll see. But if you remember, Hillary Clinton just a week ago or so told Joe Biden, do not accept the results of the election under any circumstances. But you don't ask her that question. You only ask me the question.
So there's the president of the United States declaring on the lawn of the White House or getting onto his plane that the elections in our country are not fair, are not trustworthy. That is unprecedented. That is unprecedented. You remember when Obama said, when asked about Trump saying that the elections are rigged, Obama said that's not even possible. Everything is decentralized, But what Obama fails to tell you is that everybody has got a gun to their head in the Democratic Party. If you don't fall in line, if you don't walk lockstep with the Democratic talking points, they exile you, they smear you, they prosecute you, they kick you out of the circle. That's how severe it is. Look at Bernie Sanders, how he folded like a cheap suit. He's scared shit. Old man probably shit in his pants because they probably threatened him. Say, listen, if you don't drop out, we'll have the CIA, the FBI, the NSA up your old ass and your grandkids' asses for the rest of their lives, right? Who knows what kind of threats people receive. But apparently Trump, because he made it to the presidency or whatever, is slightly exempt from that. So that's Trump saying the Justice Department on Thursday said the FBI has opened an investigation into 9 absentee ballots. So Trump's FBI investigating 7 out of 9 cast for Trump that were found in the garbage near Scranton, Pennsylvania. Wow, fucking Scranton, Pennsylvania. How about that shit? Trump routinely expressed doubt about the reliability of mail-in voting amid the COVID-19 pandemic. I like Scranton, by the way. Scranton, I'm from Scranton. Scranton, Pennsylvania is a nice little city. It's beautiful over there. It's like a medium-sized city. It sits right on the border of New York, and friendly little town. Right? It's nice. It's like it reminds me of Staten Island, like a suburb. Trump routinely expressed doubt about the reliability of mail-in voting, and it's Pennsylvania. It's a Democrat governor, but it swung for Trump in 2016. Remember, Pennsylvania is now red. It went for Trump. So at this point, we can confirm that a small number of military ballots were discarded, U.S. Attorney David Freed said in a statement. Investigators have recovered 9 ballots at this time. Some of those ballots can be attributed to specific voters, and some cannot. Of the 9 ballots that were discarded and recovered, 7 were cast for President Trump. 2 of the discarded ballots had been resealed inside their appropriate envelopes by Luzerna Elections staff prior to recovery by the FBI, and the contents of the 2 ballots are unknown. So all Trump, right? All the 7 for Trump and 2 unknown, right? Which means they're probably for Trump too. An initial statement from Freed incorrectly said all 9 ballots were cast for President Trump. Okay, thanks for clarifying. Freed said the probe began Monday at the request of the Luzerne County District Attorney, Stefanifan. Do I need to read more of this? Do we need more? Since Monday, FBI personally working together with Pennsylvania State Police have conducted numerous interviews and reviewed certain physical evidence, election officials said. Ongoing investigation. The President of the United States is saying that the thing is a sham and a ripoff. They're sending out excessive ballots, unsolicited ballots. So first time in really unprecedented. They usually just cheat behind everybody's back, and then they fight it out after the fact, like in Florida. Cheat, and then and never admit that they're cheating. But here we have the leader of the Democratic Party, the President of the United States, the head of the executive branch, saying this shit is a rig, man. The rig is in, and now there's evidence. Right? So let's go one step further now, and then we're going to get into this whole China thing, because this is heavy, right? You're making an accusation that anything China is now spying. Now what are you going to do? You're going to start prosecuting Chinese people? You're going to go to Chinatown and say, oh, they're spies? You're going to go to anybody with a Chinese last name is a fucking Chinese spy? It's fucked up. It's fucked up. You gotta be really careful when you start extending yourself like that. These are American. This is American soil. These are American citizens. Right? That's all I say. Right? The American consulate, the Chinese consulate, yeah, that's China. But if you extend that outside, for example, they arrested a NYPD cop, a Chinese guy, for allegedly working with the consulate, under arrest. So for espionage, we'll look at that too. But anyway, so moderate. This is Bill West. Thank you for sending me this. Let's try not to put RT's stuff up anymore, because they're being dickheads. They're responsible for knocking the site down. Really, I guess it's okay. You put their clips up, but RT is Rupli. Rupli is owned by RT, and RT is now being dickheads. They're the ones responsible for my copyright claim, which I'm fighting, saying that it's fair use, right? But it is RT, it is Rupli. They're the same people. So I'm not going to show their videos anymore. Why? Because they fucking strike your channel and cause you pain and suffering.
We now know the 6 topics for next week's presidential debate in Cleveland. President Trump and Joe Biden will go back and forth on their own records, on the Supreme Court, on COVID-19, the economy, race and violence in our cities, and the integrity of the election. Each topic broken into 15-minute segments. The debate next Tuesday, September 29th, at Case Western University in Cleveland.
We will have Case West University in Cleveland. First debate next Tuesday. Oh, damn. If we can find the feed, maybe we'll do it live. Maybe we'll have it, we'll watch it together live. We'll watch it on the screen, and we'll have the comments, and I'll shut up, and we'll watch it. We could do that. Maybe. We'll see. Because a lot of times those streams are jammed, or you'll start streaming it, and it'll crash because they want you watching it somewhere else where their commercials are. But anyway, big debate, very, very big thing. The moderator, I believe, is the Fox guy, right? Who is it? We got to listen to it.
6 topics for next week's presidential. Know the 6 topics for next week's presidential debate in Cleveland. President Trump and Joe Biden will go back and forth on their own records, on the Supreme Court, on COVID-19, the economy, race and violence in
I think it's Mike Wallace.
Our cities, and the integrity of the election.
They didn't say who the commentator is, but I believe it's Mike Wallace, the Fox guy. So here's another one. Biden campaign retires for the day at 9 a.m. as election looms. Talk about a lazy motherfucker. People want this guy to, they want him to be president. What a shame. Look at this picture right here. Spreading across a field as a stork protects her eggs. And the whole fucking shit is burning down, right? She found the one She found the one piece of metal to sit on her eggs. That's so brilliant, man. Look at that fire just fucking destroying everything. So what is this? He gives a whole new measure to Morning Joe. With just 40 days until the presidential election, Joe Biden campaign called a lid at the early hour of 9 a.m. Thursday, meaning the Democratic nominee wouldn't be holding any public events for the rest of the day. Now, do we really give a shit? But it is funny that at 9 o'clock the guy's already too tired to do anything else with 40 days before a presidential election, and Trump is flying here, there, and everywhere else. Trump he's going to do a rally every day or every other day right till the end. Trump is no fool. It's clearly advantage. The more you get out in front of people, that works. It works. The more you get out in front of people, the more you wave your finger at people, the more you show your face, the more people believe you. Does it work? Yeah, it works. That's why you do it. So when he pulls 30,000 in Pennsylvania, that's a big deal. When he pulls, 30,000 in Florida, big deal. Biden can't draw anybody. So Biden's campaign blasted out the email at 9:20 a.m. announcing the 77-year-old nominee would spend the day hunkered down in Wilmington, Delaware, home where he has been sequestered for much of the pandemic. His running mate, Kamala Harris, also has no public events. Nice job, Joe. You're supposed to pick a workhorse for your running mate, someone that's out there every day, 24/7, that doesn't sleep, plugging you. Then she took the day off. Yesterday, the Democratic nominee told reporters he would spend Thursday preparing for his first debate in Cleveland, Ohio. So Joe Biden needs 4 full days to prepare himself. And you got to love Trump. Trump said, let's do a drug test. I think he's on, they're going to shoot him up with performance enhancing drugs. Trump said that, remember? He said they shot him up. They shot him up. He's on something. He's on something because he goes from not knowing where he is to knowing where he is very quickly and then back to not knowing where he is. So that is a sign of, Alzheimer's senility. Of course it is. That's what it is. But can you spike your good time, your clarity, spike it with some kind of med just to get you over the top so that you don't look like you're falling asleep on the stage. If that's the case, that would be unbelievable. Testing the two candidates for performance-enhancing medications, which Trump said, I'm okay with that. The Democratic ticket's light schedule stands in stark contrast to the fringed campaign of Trump 2020, with the president flying to Charlotte, North Carolina to deliver remarks on his health care plan before traveling to Jacksonville, Florida for one of his signature rallies at 7 p.m. Vice President Mike Pence has also been quietly zigzagging across the country on a bus tour, and will spend Thursday at stops in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and Minneapolis. So the Trumps are tearing it up. And Trump's got his daughter, he's got his son, he's got his wife, everybody out on the campaign trail stomping. Right? They're all over the media, right? They're like media mongers. Right? Talking to the press, talk Trump up, talk Biden down. Trump seized on the announcement in a tweet in which he suggested Biden was tired and not up to the job. Quote, here's Trump, quote, Sleepy Joe just closed down his campaign for the day again, wants to rest. He is a very low energy individual, and our country cannot make it in these exciting but complex and competitive times with a low energy president. Pow! That's going to be the tone. If you don't, you talk about comedy, you talk about straightforwardness. Tuesday, Trump is not going to fucking hold back. You remember what he did with Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz? He made a mockery out of him. Remember what he did to Jeb Bush? He chopped Jeb Bush's legs off in the first fucking 2 minutes. He said, your brother's a liar. They lied. They lied to us about Iraq. Weapons of mass destruction. Right to his face, he said it. You don't think Trump is going to call Joe Biden a senile old fuck? Right to his face? You're senile. Your brain is gone. Joe, your brain is gone. What are you doing here? Do you even know what day it is? That's how Trump's gonna talk to him. And he should too. Right? We'll see. Biden shunned public events for months at the peak of coronavirus, saying it was important to lead by example as the nation was told to shelter in place and stay home to stop the spread of coronavirus. What fucking bullshit is that? He wasn't, all right, shun public events, stay 6 feet away on the podium. But that doesn't say, he didn't even speak to the public. He didn't get in front of the cameras for months. No one knew where the fuck Joe Biden was. He was in why? You don't have a webcam? You can't get in front of the camera like I'm in front of the camera. I get in front of the camera every day. You can't do that? Why? You're too important? No, you're senile. You're old. You have nothing to say. You have nothing to offer. All you do is gaff. I wish Trump calls Biden out on the cheating in the Democratic Party, right? Say, listen, you guys cheated. You cheated Bernie Sanders. He won. Say it, Trump. You'll win a lot of support from former Bernie people, man, because that's really what they want to hear. So, what else? The former VP, significantly ramped up his travel following the Labor Day holiday with a battleground state tour, but has still repeatedly shunned questions from reporters, fueling criticism that he is unable to handle intense questioning. Yup. Last week, the Post revealed that the commander-in-chief had fielded roughly 5 times more reporter questions than Biden since July over the last 2 months. Trump loves that shit, man. Trump goes out on the stump. Just comparison. We're comparing the two strategies, right? How is Biden winning? The fake polls, that doesn't matter. According to a review of candidates' interviews and briefings, Biden took 0 questions during at least one 8-day period in late July and early August. 0. I'm not open to questions. I'm open to running the country, but don't ask me shit. Next week's highly anticipated debate will be the first time the two candidates face off in person and follow months of jibs from Trump campaign about Biden's mental acuity. So there's going to be a lot of talk about Biden's mental acuity or lack thereof, and a lot of talk about his son Hunter, Burisma. Be a lot of that, right? Trump's going to just jam and pound and punch. Biden's not going to be able to handle himself, I think. The president has reported, look, Joe Biden's very knowledgeable. He was the vice president of the United States. He knows a lot about the White House and the functioning of the White House. He spent 8 years, next to Trump. He's been in the, Situation Room. He's the vice president of the United States. But he's fucking senile. He's not able. Trump is the president. Trump knows everything Biden knows and then some. And Trump has a full brain still intact, right? Whereas Biden does not. So it's advantage Biden. It's advantage Trump. The president has repeatedly shunned traditional preparation for the 3 debates, telling aides that he was counting on his opponent to make one of the verbal fumbles or gaffes that scarred his primary race. So is Trump going to improvise a little bit? Sure he is. But is he going to be coached by Steve Bannon and the rest of them? Of course he is. But the Trump campaign has tried to walk back its attack on Biden in recent weeks, realizing that the 77-year-old is battle-tested, having endured the Democratic debates. But the president even going so far to say he expects Biden would do great at the first matchup. That's bullshit right there. That's Trump just bringing him in. Come on. Oh, yeah, you're going to do great. Come on into the ring. Get in. Oh, yeah. Right? No, when the art of war, when you let your enemy think you're far away when you're very close, right? Or when you're very close, let him think you're far away. And that's what Trump's doing. He's like, oh, no, yeah, it's good. Get into the ring. And then Trump unloads on him. That's going to be the strategy there. No doubt about it. That's like a New York style ass kicking. So this is fucked up. There's another one, right? So White House Trump got booed at Ruth Bader Ginsburg's memorial. Booed. You got a bunch of assholes standing outside booing Trump for being there. It's fucked up, right? So let's listen to the very smart, very attractive press secretary tell us everything about it.
Were appalling, but certainly to be expected when you're in the heart of the swamp. I travel with the president all across the country, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida, Nevada, and everywhere we go, the streets are lined with support like I don't think any other president has had previously. But with regard to precedent, as I've noted before, 29 times has an appointment been made in an election year, 29 times, and that was all 29 times when there was a vacancy at hand. So the precedent is very much on our side here. And I would also note the hypocrisy of Democrats. Joe Biden saying, I would go forward with the confirmation process as chairman even a few months before an election. Barack Obama saying, fill the Supreme Court vacancy when it was his tenure. And you had Kamala Harris saying as well that Senate GOP is holding SCOTUS hostage for political gain. Join me in calling them to consider President Obama's nominee. So they've really flipped here because the precedent is on our side and their hypocrisy is on full display.
That's right. Good statement right there. So the White House on Thursday rebuked the appalling booing of President Trump by mourners as he paid his respects to late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Quote, Trump, I think the chants were appalling, but certainly to be expected when you're in the heart of the swamp. That's what... No, actually, Trump didn't say that. That was the press secretary. So the article just repeats everything that we just heard. So there's no real reason to read this. Let's see some pictures. I love pictures. Oh, here's the jackoffs. People booing the president and first lady. What a disaster. What a fucking disgrace. A coronavirus masked Trump and First Lady made a brief visit to the Supreme Court early Thursday to pay their respects to Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, where she is lying in repose atop the stairs of the Grand Courthouse. Crowds on the sidewalk, also there to pay tribute to the women's rights champion, began loudly chanting and booing when they saw Trump appear behind Ginsburg's flag-draped casket. The group yelped. I just want to see the rest of the pictures. What else? Oh, sweet. Oh, sweet. So sweet. So sweet. So sweet. I guess that's the crowd's booing. All right. It's not that big of a deal. The group yelled, vote him out, and chanted, honor her wish, referring to Brooklyn-born icon's dying wish that she not be replaced until a new president is installed. That was one of her wishes. Remember when Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, not on my dying body, that she's going to stay in office until Trump is gone? But she also said that she would resign. I think she even said that. I will resign. If Trump wins, I'll resign. They didn't resign. Or was it, what was the fucking name? Rosie O'Donnell. I'm moving out of the country if Trump wins. And she's still here. Trump made his exit roughly 30 seconds later. So Trump was only over the body for 30 seconds, and they're fucking booing him. Pretty crazy. So let's talk about the main story. Mike didn't resign, or was it? Conte, shush. We're just checking on shit. So let's talk about the main deal. Right? So this is Mike Pompeo. If you don't know who Mike Pompeo is, then you got a problem. You don't have a problem. Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, has said that China is operating a spy ring in their consulate in New York City, here in New York City. Now, who is Mike Pompeo? Mike Pompeo was the leader of the CIA. The CIA director. What does the CIA do? They're professional liars. They shift their job. They are empowered to shift the narrative in America, to shift what people think and what people believe, right? And when everybody believes the wrong thing, the CIA did it. The CIA it's the propaganda arm of the United States. They do other things, but essentially that's what they do. They control narratives. They win over narratives. They lie to the American people For what? For political gain, for political, what they'll call stability, or to protect what they call secrets. So here's and then you could say, well, what is a lie? He's lying because he's protecting us. That is not satisfactory for me as an American. That's not satisfactory. You're lying to keep me safe. Oh, really? Oh, are you really? You're lying. You're lying to keep me safe, are you? I'm applying some peppermint oil right now. This is my peppermint oil, and I'm now going to put on some. I got the eucalyptus over here too. Eucalyptus. I don't accept that politicians lie and then say, oh no, we're lying to protect you. It's for your own good, right? It's about like the coronavirus. Stay 6 feet away from each other. It's for your own good. No, you're lying. You're lying. You're making shit up. So good. So here is Mike Pompeo. I said he's a liar. Did I say he's a liar? No, he said he's a liar. I didn't say it. I only said what he said. I am only repeating what Mike Pompeo said about himself here.
When I was a cadet, what's the cadet motto at West Point? You will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. I was the CI director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.
Wow.
When I was a cadet, what's the cadet motto at West Point? You will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. I was the CI director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. I was the CI director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. I was the CI director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. I was the CI director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. We had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment. When I was a cadet,
there you go, man. You can't make it up, right? You can't make it up. I love this clip because it's so raw and truthful. There he is, and everything. From that point on, whenever you see Mike Pompeo speak, it's just straight up, handcrafted propaganda. Especially when he was dealing with Venezuela. So let's go forward. That's who Mike Pompeo is, and this is the consulate. This is allegedly. Maybe I should read this first. Mike Pompeo says China's New York consulate is major spy hub. So this is the article, and I want to read it. China's New York consulate is being used as a major hub for the communist nation's U.S. espionage efforts. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told the Post after an NYPD cop was arrested and charged with spying for the Chinese government. So let's have a look at this place. So you are here. This is New York City. Right? I'm right over here, by the way. I'm right by the bridge. Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. Bay Ridge, motherfucker. Right? It's a little local shit, but I'm over here. And this is the upper, it's not the Upper West Side, but it's Midtown West. Right? Here's Times Square. You see where it is, right? This is staggering, right? So consulates all over the place. Consulate of Canada, Consulate of Jamaica, Consulate of Australia. It's consulates everywhere. Right? And Hudson Yard. This is where the Intrepid Museum is. But here's the Consulate Republic, General Republic of China. This is the allegation. Right? I'm not making this up. The liar, the cheater, and the stealer said that right here at this consulate is a spy ring. Right? There's the Intrepid. Where's the Intrepid? There's the Intrepid. The big, and this is, let's look down. Let's get down to the street. Let's get down to the street. Let's get down to the street. I think you do it this way. Here we go. Oh, no. All right, so there's the consulate. Here we go. So this is what it looks like. I think it's fun to look at, right? So this is the front of the building. Man, it's a fucking cold-ass building. Shit is cold, man. Shit is cold. It's, it's this one right here. There's the Chinese flag. China. Look at this consulate. There's no words. I don't see any words. It doesn't say Chinese consulate. All it says, it's very secretive, right? So this giant building over here is where they're saying, allegedly, there is a spy ring. Remember the spy ring in Congress? Now we got a spy ring in a Chinese consulate. Let's go around the side. Check out the side. So it's a big-ass building, and it's got its own parking lot. It's next to some high-risers. They got a lot of garbage. I hope they get a ticket for dropping their fucking garbage on the street like that. That looks illegal. I used to write those tickets. It is illegal. I just want to go around the corner. Let's look at the other side. Hey, what's up? Oh, look. Oh, look at that. That's awesome that we see some Chinese protesters. These are the Falun Gong. Falun Dafa. Falun Gong is one of that's insane that it's on Google Map. That you can actually see the protesters outside of the Chinese consulate. So that is definitely the Chinese consulate. It's unmarked. There's no way into the building other than that front door or this little, yeah. Everything is sealed off. See how it's all sealed off? Very Chinese. I guess this is the front door. So I don't know. It's just interesting for me. It's interesting to see where it is, right? That's where we are. We're right in. Oh well. We're right in downtown. How come I can't get my map back? Give me my map. Give me my map. Give me my map. Oh look, we're out in the ocean now. These maps are not very consistent. Let's la. Yeah. So there you go. So let's read. Mike Pompeo, do we believe it? Give me a one. Do a survey. Let's do a survey. Do we believe that China is operating a spy ring in New York City? Give me a one. A one that China needs to be investigated for a spy ring in New York. Or two, it sounds like U.S. propaganda. Give it to me. Mike Pompeo says China's New York consulate is major spy ring hub. Let's find out. Washington, China's New York consulate is being used as a major. I'm going to vote. I got to vote. I'm going to say one. We got a couple. We got a one. We got a two. Nathan Purvis says two. Let that election. We're having an election right now. So shh. Washington, China's New York consulate is being used as a major hub for the communist nation's U.S. espionage efforts. Remember Julian Assange? Same thing. How many people are they going to arrest now? They're going to arrest this NYPD cop? Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told the Post after an NYPD cop was arrested and charged with spying on the Chinese government. Here he is. Right? Tibetan group says it uncovered ties between NYPD cop, Chinese consulate in 2019. So this guy got locked up. He's a Tibetan dude. A Tibetan group based in Queens, New York. Not Falun Gong, but a Tibetan group. Different. Based in Queens, claimed Tuesday to have uncovered ties between the NYPD cop and Chinese consulate more than 18 months before he was busted by the FBI as an alleged Chinese spy. This guy's fucked. The Tibetan community, whether he's innocent or not, he's still fucked. The Tibetan community of New York and New Jersey issued a 2-page statement detailing what it described as repeated efforts by a since suspended officer to infiltrate the group by using his uniform and badge as cover. Smells fishy, very fishy. But the statement said board members became alarmed on March 3rd, 2019, when they saw a photo of Ang Wang's wife at a Chinese consulate of New York event. That picture, which indicated Wang's affiliation with the Chinese consulate, made us feel very uncomfortable and somewhat suspicious, said the Tibetans who got their land stolen from them because they refused to fight back. They're living in exile. That's harsh, right? The Chinese government, the Chinese military and the government was pushed Tibetans out of Tibet, especially the monks. Tibetans had a very rich history of religion, right? The Tibetan religion, what is it called? Vajrayana. It's the Buddhism. It's Tibetan Buddhism, and that's illegal. The Chinese made made religion illegal. And also all the religious people that their whole life revolves around, religion, weren't allowed to practice. I studied with Tibetan Buddhists. The Shambhala Buddhist tradition of meditation and mindfulness is from Tibet. And Vipassana is Hindu. It's an Indian guru. I don't have any guru. I don't conform to any of that stuff. I just think that it's off topic, but a lot of those religions, especially the Tibetan religion and the Nepal versions of Buddhism, the teaching of the Buddha, are very, very powerful things to know. All yoga stems from the Buddha's idea of mindfulness, right? That mindfulness of body, mindfulness of physical behavior. When I'm breathing, I know I'm breathing. When I'm walking, I know I'm walking. And also then, you exaggerate that out to yoga poses, and you wake people up like that. People start to realize they then begin to have an aura around them, a sense of balance in their lives. And why would a government want to take that away from people? Right? Because it's more powerful than their propaganda. Right? And anyway, so I don't know if I believe this about the cop, but that's what they're talking about. We're going to continue. We're going to continue on this article to see if we can find out what the hell's going on. And it's likely more diplomats and agents will be arrested, Pompeo told the paper in a sit-down Wednesday. So more coming. Quote, they're engaged in activities where they're crossing the line from normal diplomacy to the kinds of things that would be more akin to what spies are doing, Pompeo said. And Pompeo would know what spies are doing because he was the director of the CIA, director of the largest spy organization in the world. Most powerful anyway, most secretive. Pompeo said when pressed on the goings-on inside the consulate on the West Side Highway. Pompeo's remarks follow the arrest last week. I could go up to the consulate, by the way. I was going to go there today, but I figure I'd get more done by reading this article to you and looking at the pictures. I mean, I could go stand there, and I'm not going to see anything different. I'm going to go hang out with a bunch of Falun Gong people. But I could do that. I'll do a walk by. Pompeo's remarks follow the arrest last week, especially if I'm up there. If I go to B&H or something because it's right by there, at Times Square, I'll ride down there and I'll do a little video and we'll see it, because that's a pretty big allegation. Spy ring in New York City, Chinese spy ring. Whoa, masked as a consulate. So what else? Pompeo's remarks follow the arrest last week of an NYPD officer charged with serving as a secret agent for the Chinese government. They just keep repeating the same thing. We don't have any evidence. A charge China has denied, and the U.S. government's decision to shut down the Chinese consulate in Houston in July after 2 military assets were charged with trying to steal COVID-19 vaccine research. Quote, we closed it because they're engaged in espionage, and that is a legal term. It's not just a spy novel term. It's a very data-driven, analytical, fact-based analysis that says, no, this is espionage. It's unlawful, and therefore we're going to send you back. He said on a flight back from Wisconsin on Wednesday, said Pompeo. Right? So it's just a lot of double talk, a lot of double speak. Right? It's factual, it's analytical, but they don't give you the facts or the analysis. During a speech to state lawmakers there, the former CIA director warned that Chinese Communist Party officials were engaged in a full-scale propaganda operation at the state and city level and identified the Big Apple's consulate as, quote, very politically active. The Communist Party, Chinese Communist Party campaigns targeted state level officials and local interests have been in full swing for years, and they're increasing in intensity, he said. So why did you wait all these years to do it? Why right before an election? In February, a Chinese consulate based in Chicago, based out of Wisconsin State Senate, Roger Roth, angled for him to pass a resolution praising China's handling of the coronavirus as a request he called nuts. Let me just see what else we can find out here. In July, the State Department confirmed that Chinese consulate is more than 24 U.S. cities, and more than 24 U.S. cities were aiding undercover Communist Party soldiers posing as students to engage in spying. Wow. Just wow. You're attacking fucking students as spies. You see how they're gonna advance, how the totalitarian nation advances? Now, if you're Chinese, the prosecution of Chinese in America. Now, what does that say? What does that say to Chinese people in this country, American citizens that are of Chinese descent, that most Americans look at someone with, that looks Asian and, they're fucking Chinese spy now. Now they're a Chinese spy. Don't these people think about what they're saying before they say it? And suggesting that the Communist Party soldiers are posing as students. Wow, that's fucking mind-blowing that they would say something like that. Chinese consulates in San Francisco and New York were also identified as hotbeds for espionage. This is a closing of the door. This is what we're seeing in America. We're seeing now. This is I use that eucalyptus. I have peppermint and eucalyptus. All right. So they're saying that this is the closing of the door, the changing of the guard, where China and Chinese people are no longer welcome here. Get your fucking Chinese shit out of here. It's devastating. I mean, it's just it's unfounded. It's unfounded that where you're treating, show us the soldiers. What Communist Party soldiers? Where? Chinese consulates in San Francisco and New York were also identified as hotbeds for espionage. That's the new word, man. That's the new phrase, espionage. Oh yeah, Julian Assange, espionage. Snowden, espionage, right? Marcus Conte, espionage. Chinese, espionage. Students, espionage. Scary times. The facilities have long... What the fuck did they steal? What can a Chinese student, steal that isn't already public? Like, what the fuck did they steal? Like, the Americans, they teach with, they use this textbook, and it has secrets in it. It's a secret textbook. And meanwhile, you can buy the textbook on Amazon. Doesn't even make sense. That's disgusting. There might be some spy operations or information gathering operations inside the Chinese consulate, but to then say that Chinese students, are fucking spies, are operatives, is just beyond the pale. We lied, we cheated, we stole. The facilities have long been accused of trying to steal trade secrets from nearby Silicon Valley or collecting information on the Big Apple's. What the fuck? How many Chinese people work for Silicon Valley? They're hired. A lot of times they're American citizens. How do you stop them? They're doing their job. They're not stealing trade secrets. How ridiculous. Pompeo told, see how more as you unwind it, more ridiculous it gets? More propaganda-oriented it gets? Right, so the facilities have long been accused of trying to steal trade secrets from nearby Silicon Valley. Pompeo told the Post these efforts could even extend to the United Nations headquarters in Manhattan and said that Trump administration was keeping a very close eye on the number of Chinese diplomats working in the United States. Quote, remember, not only do we have Chinese consulates here, but there's a UN facility too, the former Kansas congressman said. So, if we're talking about New York, we not only have the Chinese consulate in New York, that is the bilateral consulate. We also have a large contingent of Chinese diplomats here in the United Nations work. So they're trying to frame all Chinese working in the country as spies. This is what your government is doing. This is what Pompeo's up to. Chinese authorities deny charges the NYPD cop and Army reservist betrayed fellow Tibetans in New York by spying on them and passing the intel on to Chinese government handlers. So why, you got to ask yourself, if the United States doesn't, well, I don't know if we acknowledge Tibet as its own country, but I think we just call it China. Why does that even matter? That someone goes to a Tibetan meeting and then that's for the Tibetan community to deal with. It's not fucking espionage. It's someone going, all right, again, if he's a cop, that's a little different. But for someone to go to a meeting that you're speaking openly with and you give away all your intentions and then they go back and tell somebody else, that's just tattletaling. That's not espionage. That's not a betrayal of the American country. That's a betrayal of a group of people, a community group in Queens. That's not espionage. As you've seen, not just the case with the NYPD officer this past week, we've seen multiple cases being prosecuted by the Department of Justice, and we're confident that they will continue to pursue this. I would expect that there will be much more to follow. The Chinese Consulate General in New York could not be immediately reached for comment. They're not going to comment. The U.S. government has been ramping up its rhetoric on China as the communist country faces intense international scrutiny for covering up the origins of the coronavirus, stealing American intellectual property, and detaining minority groups such as the indigenous Uyghurs. Uyghurs. I don't know what those are. Those are new, man. They just came out with those, the Uyghurs. Right? They're like the Ecuadorians, like they're real fucking short and they're wide, right? There's a new brand of humans, right? It's the Uyghurs. Uyghurs. Foreign influence in America's higher education system has also been an increasing concern. We're shutting down our education system. This is why. Right? They want to know exactly who's getting this information. No more training anybody who doesn't have round eyes. Only white people with round eyes or some blacks will let in. But no more Chinese, man. Get rid of those Chinese because they're all spies. Foreign influence in American higher education system has also been an increased concern, sparking at least one congressional probe, which charges that Ivy League colleges are trying to keep their lucrative ties to China a secret. In January, all propaganda, this is crazy talk. This is crazy speak, and this is under Trump. Trump's the leader of this thing. Trump presides over this. In January, am I being too hard on U.S. and Pompeo, and too soft on China? One might think, no, not at all. I'm just stating the facts of punching holes where there's obvious holes. In January, one Harvard professor was charged with lying about his dealings with Chinese research agencies that paid him $500,000. More than $6.5 billion in foreign money has been disclosed by Harvard and Yale since being pressured to disclose the funds since last year. Really? More than $6.5 billion in foreign money has been disclosed. Wow, that's a lot of money. Education Department probe Harvard, Yale over foreign funding. Whoa, this is all the way back in February. The Department of Education has announced that it is investigating two elite universities, Harvard and Yale. The government says, shut them down. Shut them down. That's it. I conclude that shut down Harvard, shut down Yale. They're propaganda machines. Whether they're working with the Chinese government or not, shut them down. Because we could do less with higher than thou, smarter than thou, more thermometers than more fucking degrees than a thermometer kind of people, arrogant liberals, arrogant intellectuals that don't speak to the populace anymore. They're propaganda machines, right? Get your MBA, which is worthless outside of corporate America. It's a piece of shit. It's a degree that teaches you how to conform to what the corporation is telling you to do. If you can get an MBA from a prestigious university, it means you're a total failure in life. It means that you're totally for sale. And when the company says jump, you jump. That's all it means, right? Because any idiot can do those jobs, can be taught to do those jobs. You don't learn your job when you work. When you go to college, you don't learn a job. You learn a theory. You learn a way of being. a mindset of subordination. Bow to your boss. Turn around. Take it up the. You know what I mean, right? If you have to, because that's what you're supposed to do. You speak out. Free speech. What is it? What are you talking about? Free speech. You work for us. You do what we tell you to do, and that is the state of America right now. It's clearly, these are the Falun Gong people. Falun Gong. Falun Gong is an outside organization. It's a religion, and so China has a lot of enemies, is what I'm saying. But what are we looking at? We're looking at forced conformity in this country. If you don't conform, for example, if I don't shut my hole about politics, they'll continue to chop channels down. But I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way forward. What I know is truth. Is read something, and it's my truth. And if people come and listen to it, then it's your truth as well. Or you're trying to prove my truth is not true and your truth is truer. Whatever. We're having a dialogue here, but I think that I think that our way of life is under siege. I think that that free speech is slowly being pushed out. I think that we have a state of forced conformity across the board. If you don't conform, then you will be excluded from the cake, from the pie, from the cookies. You can't have any because you don't want to conform. You can't have a job working in our circle because you don't conform. You can't work here because you don't have your mask on and your virus shot because you won't conform. You can't come into our supermarket and buy groceries and eat because you didn't conform. Non-conformity is now frowned upon, right? And why are people not conforming? Because what they're being asked to conform to does not make sense. So that's where we're at, man. Thanks everybody. My brother Vinny DiMartini in the chat. If Sterling Price pops up, I want to give him his wrench back. I haven't seen him. I got to hit the button when I see his name. When I see his name, and I see your name. So thank you everybody for sharing. I don't see him in the chat right now. So anyway, man. Stay clear, man. Stay aware. Okay, got it.